What I think about high schoolers driving sports cars is I don't mind it. It's a car. I drive mine. I love Mustangs, so I take very good care of my car. As long as you take good care of the sports car and don't use it just to show off, get friends, or anything, that's cool. But don't do it because your friends want you. Do it because you like the car. Pregnant people driving sports cars? I don't see why not. They couldn't. It's a car. But if I say you're pregnant, I'd say be a passenger until you're not pregnant anymore. Then you could drive it. But my opinion on sports cars is I'm down for any high schooler driving a sports car. And motorcycles, I want a Harley. So yeah, I'm down for a motorcycle if students get a motorcycle. And yeah, I do think students should buy their own car. I bought my own car and it's a Mustang. It's a 40th anniversary, so we're not gonna say the price, but it was a pretty penny. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, sports cars, I'm down with. Take care of them. Responsibility. It's still a car. You can still kill people with it. Don't drive recklessly. Bikes, it's a bike. It has 2 wheels. You gotta be more safe. You gotta be more responsible. You gotta keep your eyes out more. But I'm okay with Harleys. I'm okay with bikes and sports cars being driven around at school. Just don't show off in the parking lot like you're cool and then smash into one of the poles. There you go. You owe the school 15 grand.
All right, thank you. You good?
Can you see me?
Well, first of all, my name's Jacob, and
how do you spell that?
Jakob. All right, so do I think high schoolers should drive sports cars? From my opinion, yes, because it's a lot of fun. You have a great time riding a sports car. Don't necessarily think it's safe. I think it's safer to drive something like this right here, something that probably can't go over 100 miles an hour is probably the safest option. But it's pretty fun going about 140, you know what I'm saying, on the highway. That's pretty fun.
Pregnant people. Should pregnant people have sports
Oh,
cars?
should pregnant people drive?
Yeah, it's something I never got to put on the paper.
So should pregnant people drive sports cars? If you're a responsible driver and if you know how to drive, obviously, I don't think you should be driving if you're pregnant necessarily. But if you're good at it, then you're good at it. You know what I mean? I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Motorcycles. If it's the only thing you have, I don't necessarily see a problem with it. But you should have your license in it because you never really know. You should have experience, at least 1 year experience, I think, before you really should get on the road with that thing.
All right, thank you.
Good. Yep.
Absolutely. I think it is completely fine for a high school student to have a sports car / luxury car. Young drivers do tend to drive a little bit fast in certain situations that might not be appropriate. But at the same time, I wouldn't want them to be punished, or held back in any way if they had the ability to get a sports car or a luxury car. It would just have to take a little bit of extra caution on their part to follow the safety guidelines and the speed limits and stuff. But I really don't see a problem with a high school student having a sports car or luxury car. As far as a student having to pay for their first car, that can go either way. That can go both ways. I do think there's value for a parent requiring their kid to pay for their first car. I didn't have to pay for my first car, but I did have to pay for the insurance. And so that was kind of a trade-off. I had to pay for my own gas and insurance and things, but it also wasn't a really fancy car. It was one to just kind of get me rolling, so that with my part-time job, it taught me a little bit of responsibility. So that can go either way as well. Motorcycles. That is where I will change a little bit on my opinion. I don't think it's smart for a high school student to have a motorcycle. The combination of being young and a little bit inexperienced in driving and everything does combine enough to where it would make it probably a bad decision, but that can go on a case-by-case basis. If someone has grown up on bikes and they're familiar with it and they kind of know the extra safety measures to take, you don't get any do-overs on a bike. If you're in a car and you get into a fender bender or you get into a fairly significant accident, you walk away from those if you're seat belted in and everything's okay. On a motorcycle, even the smallest accident can severely injure you or kill you. And I have seen guys that avoided an accident and dumped their bike to save their life, and then they end up road rashed and can't move, like broken legs, tore up real bad. Where in a vehicle, they would have been fine. It all just comes down to experience and case-by-case basis, but most of our students, and I say anyone between like 16, 18, 19, right around there, are pretty good around here. I do give nice reminders to drive especially slow in the parking lot because it is extremely dangerous, and then just following the road. Speed limits and stuff. But there's a time and place. As far as when you want to hot rod and have a little fun, I do the same. It's all location and timing. You wouldn't want to do it on the highway during rush hour, but if you have a straightaway and you want to have a little bit of fun, that's okay as long as it's safe. You want to watch out for you. I want all my guys and girls to be healthy and happy and make it through high school. If one is pregnant, they have to think not only about themselves but about the baby. And an accident you might walk away from, but it could hurt or kill the baby. And that's one thing I'd say, probably avoid that and go for more of a safer traditional car or SUV. But that's always someone's personal decision. I would like to see them take extra care, and I would say that probably most others that are expecting have a little bit of extra caution. So that works.
All right.
Good.
Good. Thank you.